whenever you have to sew a pencil sleeve, something like what I'm wearing, for this particular video, we are going to be doing the long sleeve. But whatever we do for this long sleeve, you can as well use it to get the 3/4 length for a pencil sleeve, and you can also use it to get a short sleeve length for a pencil sleeve. But just have it at the back of your mind that the basic measurements you will need whenever you have to cut and sew or draft cut and sew a pencil sleeve for any adult are the sleeve length. But since in this case we are working on a long sleeve length, you are going to be using sleeve length of 24. Have this at the back of your mind that a sleeve length for an adult depends on how tall the person is. You can see an adult that will use a long sleeve length of 23, you can even see 21, you can as well see 26. But for this particular project, we are going to be using 24, which is the sleeve length. Aside sleeve length, another measurement that you need whenever you have to draft, cut and sew a pencil sleeve is the round sleeve. So the round sleeve, I'm just going to be abbreviating this S. This S means sleeve, while this L means length. Do you all understand what I'm trying to say? So the round sleeve, if I have to draft, cut and sew a pencil sleeve, especially a long pencil sleeve, if I'm drafting or cutting a long pencil sleeve, I don't just measure one round sleeve. I measure three round sleeve. In fact, in some cases, I measure four round sleeve before the armhole. I measure round sleeve around the long sleeve length. I measure round sleeve around the 3/4 length. Then I measure round sleeve around this bicep region. There are some people that are with very fat arm. I measure round sleeve the closest to the armhole, which makes it the fourth round sleeve that I measure before the armhole. That's if I have to cut a long pencil sleeve. You know, I said at the initial stage of this video that the methods or all the techniques we'll be applying in this tutorial will also be applicable for when you have to cut a 3/4 length pencil sleeve and a short sleeve pencil sleeve. So if you have to cut a 3/4 length, you'll be needing round sleeve around the 3/4 length, then the round sleeve around the bicep region. If whoever you're cutting for is somebody that has big arm here, you'll still be needing round sleeve that is closest to the armhole before the armhole. But if it's like a moderate sized person or a slim person like me, you just need round sleeve around here, and then the armhole for a 3/4 length. And for a long sleeve, you'll be needing round sleeve around here, which is the long sleeve length. You'll be needing the round sleeve around the 3/4 length, you'll be needing the round sleeve around the bicep region, then the armhole. Then if what you are drafting is a short sleeve, you only need round sleeve around the bicep region, which is majorly the short sleeve length, and then the armhole. So in the case of this particular one we are drafting, the round sleeve around here is 7, the round sleeve around the 3/4 length is 10, the round sleeve around the bicep region is 12, and then this person's armhole is 17. So the armhole is 17. These are the basic measurements that you need to measure whenever you have to draft, cut and sew a round sleeve. You have to measure all of this on the person. There are still other measurements that you'll be needing to achieve a perfect, well-drafted pencil sleeve pattern. But the one that you will measure on the person are these ones. Other ones are the ones that you can get with formula and the ones that you have to know at the back of your mind. You don't necessarily, in fact, you don't have to measure it on whoever you are drafting, cutting and sewing the pencil sleeve for. So with all of this at the back of our mind, let's move straight to the drafting. To draft this, I will be using this pattern paper, and this pattern paper is not on fold. You know that if you have to cut your fabric, it has to be on fold. Or if you know that you forget to fold your fabric when you are transferring your pattern, please make sure that your pattern paper is on fold of 2. But my pattern paper is not on fold of 2. So what I'll do is, I'm coming from this side, as this pattern paper is here, and then I'll be moving towards this side. So I'm going to be getting the length, the full length of this pencil sleeve that we are cutting is 24. This is 24, so this is the full length. The next I will do is to measure the cap height. There's a formula to get the cap height. Like I said, there are some measurements that you don't measure on wherever you are sewing for. You just have to know them at the back of your mind. One of them regarding this pencil sleeve is the cap height. The cap height is majorly your bust divided by 12 plus 0.5 inch or plus 1 inch at most. So your bust divided by 12 plus 0.5 inch or plus 1 inch at most, that is the formula to get the cap height. So formula for cap height, formula for cap height is bust divided by 12, whatever you get, plus 0.5 or 1 inch. Now this person's bust is 35. I'll be dividing it by 12. Then I'll be using 1 inch in my case because this person is a tall person. You can use 0.5 if the person is already a tall person, but if you are cutting for a tall person, you should use 1. So I'll be using 1 in this case, and what I have here is 3.91, which I'll be approximating to 4. So for this cap height, I'll be using 4 inches. So starting from here, the cap height, this is the cap height, which is 4 inches. Then the next to measure is the elbow length. The elbow length for this person is 13. After the elbow length, the next to measure is now the sleeve length. So when you are done doing this, connect all of this into a straight line, just like this. So this is the cap height, this is the elbow length, and this is the long sleeve length or the wrist length or the full length, however you want to call it. So what is next is for this cap height, you're going to be placing your tape rule like this, and then you fold it back or just divide whatever you have here by 2. In my case, since what I'm using here is 4, I'll be marking 2. So after you are done dividing like this and marking your 2, what you will do next is from here, you are still going to measure the 4 that you used here, which is the cap height. You're measuring it like this and connect it. Measure it at this upper part as well, and connect these 2 points into a straight line. Like this. Now after this, what you will do next is to also connect this into a straight line. The 2 inches you marked here, you'll be connecting it into a straight line like this. So when you are done, the next is to mark out your cap height. Like you have to curve out your cap height. I'm using this, my French chalk. Just notice the way I'm placing my curved ruler here. Firstly, I'm placing it this way. From this point, I'll be connecting it to this point like this. When you are done marking out the cap height like this, what you will do next is on this cap height of 4, this line of your cap height, you'll be dividing your armhole by 2. You remember I said that this armhole is 17, so divided by 2 gives me 8.5. I'm going to be measuring the 8.5 just like this. So the next is to connect this cap height that is coming from this point, to be connecting it to the armhole this way. Remember that we placed our formula like this initially, so you'll be placing it like this next, just to be sure that you are marking out your cap height properly, you're marking it out correctly. So you're placing your curved ruler this way. You succeeded in marking out your cap height. Now the next is to start transferring your round sleeve measurements into your pattern. So firstly, on this elbow length, which happens to be the 3/4 length, the person's round sleeve around here is 10. Remember 10. So I'll be dividing the 10 by 2, divided by 2, which gives me 5. And I'll be adding sewing allowance of, I want to use 1.5 inch. If you like, you can use 1 inch. You can even use ½ inch, but for me, I love to use 1.5 inch as my sewing allowance. So this is going to be the sewing allowance. At this point as well, I'll be using sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. Then on this wrist length, the round sleeve around the wrist length is 7. Remember 7. So I'm still going to be dividing the 7 by 2, which gives me 3.5. So from here, I'll be measuring my 3.5 this way. Then I'm adding sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch, and I'll proceed to connecting all these points together. Firstly, I'm connecting the actual measurement points. Then, before I'll proceed to connecting the allowance measurement points. So this is the actual measurement. This is the actual measurement point, and I'll proceed to connecting the allowance. the sewing allowance points together as well. So majorly, that is it on how to draft a standard pencil sleeve for an adult. Remember I said that this is a pattern paper. The length of this pattern paper is 24 and the length of the sleeve I'm cutting is 24. So when I'm transferring this to my actual fabric, I'll remember to add sewing allowance to the down. It could be 1 inch, it could be 1.5, it could be 2 inches allowance to the length. But for this width, for this side, I already added my sewing allowance on my pattern paper. We have a physical fashion academy where we run 3 months beginner courses, we run 6 months beginners to intermediate courses, and we run 9 months beginners to advanced courses. We also run 3 months intermediate courses and we run 3 months advanced courses. We do upgrade courses as well. The name of our fashion academy is Atakia Couture's Fashion Academy, and our phone number is currently showing on your screen. We teach online as well. We have a YouTube channel where we teach how to cut and sew beautiful and amazing outfits for free. The name of our YouTube channel is Sew with Tosin. You can just type Sew with Tosin on YouTube. It takes you directly to our YouTube page. Then, for our physical classes, if you are interested in taking any of our courses, please send a DM or you can as well send a WhatsApp message to the phone number that is currently showing on the screen. And I hope that this particular tutorial has been helpful to you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!